The testimonies featured on this channel are presented as received, reflecting the personal experience and perspectives of the individuals who have generously shared them with us. We encourage our viewers to approach these testimonies with compassion and understanding, as these are personal testimonies of people involved. We also encourage you to always refer to the Holy Bible and the teachings of Jesus Christ and His apostles for guidance. There are moments in life when arrogance blinds a person so much that they challenge forces beyond their understanding. Some mock, some laugh, and some deny, until reality hits them in the most terrifying way possible. This is a true account, a chilling experience that changed a boy forever. Smith was just like any other teenager, smart, skeptical, and convinced that science had all the answers. He believed that faith was a crutch for the weak, and that God was nothing more than an old myth. He was bold in his disbelief, even daring to mock those who had faith. But on one fateful night, his words cost him everything, his life, and something far worse than death. He died that night, but he came back, and when he returned, he was not the same. His face bore the marks of sheer terror. His voice trembled with the weight of what he had seen. He had crossed the veil, stepped into a realm he never believed existed, and what he found there shattered every ounce of certainty he once held. Now, let's hear from Smith.
I remember that night like it just happened. It was a Friday and my friends and I were hanging out at Jason's house. The topic of religion came up, and as always, I was the loudest voice in the room. I loved debates. I loved proving people wrong. God, I laughed. If God is real, why doesn't He strike me down right now? Some of my friends chuckled, but one of them, Sarah, looked uneasy. Don't say that, Smith. You shouldn't mock what you don't understand. That made me laugh even harder. Oh, come on. You're telling me that some invisible man in the sky is going to punish me because I don't believe in Him? That's ridiculous. I stretched out my arms. Go ahead, God, do something. I dare you. I was arrogant. So arrogant. It happened fast. One moment, I was laughing. The next, I felt my chest tighten. A sharp pain, like a knife twisting deep inside. My vision blurred, and before I could even scream, darkness swallowed me whole. I was dead. At first, there was silence, a crushing, endless void. I felt weightless, drifting through nothingness. Then a sound, a whisper. No, thousands of whispers. They slithered through the darkness. Voices murmuring in a language I didn't understand. I tried to move, but I couldn't feel my body. Panic set in. I screamed, but no sound came out. Then I saw them. Eyes. Hundreds, no, thousands of glowing, red eyes staring at me from the darkness. Shadows moved around me, slithering closer. And then the whispers turned into laughter. A deep, guttural voice echoed through the void. So you finally believe? A sudden force yanked me forward, and I was falling. No, being dragged. The darkness split open, and I saw what lay beneath it. A city, but it wasn't like anything on earth. It was vast, stretching endlessly in every direction. But it wasn't made of stone or glass. It was made of suffering. Twisted buildings of flesh and bone, rivers of fire and ash in the sky. Oh God, the sky. It was pulsing alive as if it were watching me. And the screams, they came from everywhere. Agonized, desperate, endless screams. I wanted to wake up. I wanted to go back. But I wasn't dreaming. This was real. I hit the ground hard, but I felt no pain. The ground was hot, like walking on burning coals. But I had no body, just my mind, trapped in something I couldn't understand. Then I saw them, the creatures. They were unlike anything I had ever seen. Tall, thin, with elongated limbs and hollow eyes that burned like dying embers. Their mouths stretched too wide, filled with rows of jagged teeth. They moved like shadows, flickering in and out of reality. One of them stepped forward, towering over me. It grinned. Welcome, Smith. We've been expecting you. I tried to speak, to ask where I was, but the words wouldn't come. Isn't this what you wanted? The creature whispered. A world without God. I shook my head violently. The creature chuckled. But you said you didn't believe, that you wanted proof. It leaned closer, its breath hot and rancid. Well, here it is. It reached out and touched my forehead, and suddenly I saw every mistake I had ever made, every word a mockery, every cruel joke, every time I dismissed faith as nonsense. But worse, I saw the truth. There was a God, and I had rejected him. And now, I was in the place meant for those who did. I screamed. I begged. Please. I was wrong. I was wrong. The creature only laughed. Oh, but it's too late. You made your choice. Then the ground opened beneath me and I fell. I fell for what felt like eternity, surrounded by other souls, all screaming, all lost. And just as the fire reached for me, just as I felt the pain begin to consume me, a voice thundered through the abyss. Enough! Everything stopped. The fire, the creatures, the screams, everything. A blinding light exploded from above, tearing through the darkness like a sword. And then I felt something I hadn't felt since I died. Warmth, peace. And then I was rising, faster and faster, through the darkness, through the abyss, until suddenly I woke up. I was back in my body, lying on the floor of Jason's house. My friends were screaming. Someone was shaking me, and Sarah was crying. I gasped, sucking in air like I'd been drowning. My chest ached, my skin was cold, but I was alive. But I wasn't the same. I had seen it, the truth, and it had changed me forever. I should have felt relief, gratitude, something, but all I felt was sheer terror. My body was shaking, my heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest. My friends surrounded me, their faces pale, eyes wide with shock. Smith? Oh my God, you okay? Sarah's voice was frantic. I couldn't answer. I couldn't even process what had just happened. Jason ran to grab his phone. Dude, you just collapsed. You weren't breathing. We thought. He stopped mid-sentence, his face twisted with confusion. Wait, were you crying? I touched my face. Tears. I hadn't even realized I was crying. I sat up slowly, my breath still uneven. The room felt smaller, suffocating. My skin was ice cold, yet I was drenched in sweat. I had died. I knew that, but it wasn't just some near-death hallucination. No, I had been somewhere, and I had seen things no human should ever see. My hands trembled as I looked at my friends. I was wrong. My voice barely came out as a whisper. Jason frowned. What? I swallowed hard, my throat dry as sandpaper. I was wrong about everything. Their expressions shifted from concern to confusion. Sarah leaned in closer. Smith, what are you talking about? I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I saw it. I saw where people go when they die without faith. My voice cracked. I saw hell. Silence. Then Jason scoffed. Okay, dude, you're freaking me out. You just passed out for like a minute. You probably had some weird dream or something. I shook my head violently. No, it wasn't a dream. It was real. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. What did you see? I hesitated, my chest tightening just from a memory. I saw things I can't even describe. A city made of suffering, shadows that were alive, and creatures. I swallowed hard. They knew me. They knew everything about me. Jason laughed nervously. Come on, man. You're messing with us, right? I grabbed his wrist, my grip stronger than I intended. He flinched. Does this feel like I'm joking? My voice was deadly serious. He stared at me, finally seeing the fear in my eyes. I mocked God, I continued, my voice shaking. I challenged him, and I died. And the moment I did, I was dragged into something so horrifying that words can't even explain it. Sarah covered her mouth, her shoulders trembling. Jason ran a hand through his hair. Okay, so if you were in hell, how did you get back? I exhaled shakily. That's the part one don't understand. I was falling. I could feel the fire, the pain. But right before it consumed me, something stopped it. Someone. I clenched my fists. I heard a voice. It wasn't like the whispers or the creatures. This voice. I paused, struggling to find the words. It was powerful. It wasn't just sound. It was presence. It shook through everything, through me, through the whole place. What did it say? Sarah whispered. I shivered, remembering the thunderous command that had torn through the abyss. It said, enough. Jason narrowed his eyes. Enough? Enough what? I exhaled slowly. Enough suffering. Enough punishment. My throat tightened. Enough time wasted. Sarah wiped her tears. Was it? God. I hesitated. I don't know, but whatever it was, it pulled me out of that place. And the moment it did, I woke up back here. Another long silence. Then Jason spoke. Smith, if this is real, what does it mean? I let out a trembling breath. It means we're wrong. It means God is real. I swallowed. And it means hell is, too. Jason's face paled. But you got pulled out. Maybe it was just some crazy hallucination. I shook my head. No, I felt it. I knew I was gone. And when I was there, I could feel the finality of it. There was no second chance. No escape. If that voice hadn't stopped it, my voice cracked, I wouldn't be here. Sarah wiped her eyes. But why? Why did you come back? I hesitated, feeling a chill crawl up my spine, because deep down, I already knew the answer. I was sent back with a message. Jason leaned forward. What message? I closed my eyes, the words echoing in my head like a drum. Warn them. My voice came out hollow. That's what I was told. I opened my eyes, looking at each of them. Warn them. That's why I'm here. Sarah's hands were shaking. Jason looked away, trying to hide the unease in his eyes. I don't expect you to believe me, I said, my voice quieter now. I wouldn't have believed me either. But I know what I saw, and I know what's waiting for those who refuse to believe. Jason ran a hand over his face. Man, I don't know. This is too much. Sarah sniffled. What are you going to do now? I took a deep breath. I don't know, but I can't ignore this. I have to tell people. Jason scoffed. Tell people what? That you died for a few seconds and went to hell. He shook his head. They'll think you're crazy. I shrugged. Maybe, but I don't care. If even one person listens, if even one person is saved because of what I saw, it's worth it. Sarah looked at me, her expression unreadable. Smith, are you scared? I didn't answer right away. More than I've ever been in my entire life. I looked down at my hands, still trembling, because now I know what's waiting on the other side, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them. The shadows, the burning city, the endless suffering. I could still hear the whispers in the darkness, the mocking laughter of the creatures that had been waiting for me. I wasn't the same person anymore. I couldn't be. Everything I once believed was gone. My arrogance, my certainty, my so-called intelligence. It all crumbled under the weight of what I had seen. There was no room for doubt anymore. God was real. Hell was real. And I had been on the edge of losing everything. I started talking about it immediately. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. The words wouldn't leave me alone. The command echoed in my mind over and over again. Warn them. I told my family first. My mom thought I was in shock. She kept hugging me, saying I had just had a bad experience, that I needed rest. My dad listened quietly, his face unreadable. Then he sighed and muttered, maybe this is what you needed. He had always been religious, but we never saw eye to eye. I used to laugh at his faith. Now, I wished I had listened. Then I told my friends. Sarah believed me instantly. I think she always feared something like this could be true. Jason tried to act cool, but I saw the fear in his eyes. He laughed it off at first, but I caught him looking at me differently. Some of my other friends, they just mocked me. Smith had a bad dream, and now he's a preacher. What's next? Are you going to start carrying a Bible? They joked. They laughed. I didn't care, because deep down I knew I saw it in their faces. They were scared, even if they didn't admit it. Even if they kept making fun of me, a seed of doubt had been planted, and that was enough. But the real test came at school. I started telling more people. I couldn't stop myself. In the cafeteria, in the hallways, even in class. I told anyone who would listen. Some people mocked me. Others just avoided me, treated me like I was crazy. And then there were the ones who did listen. A few students pulled me aside, whispering that they had always felt something was missing, that they had been afraid of dying, wondering if there was more. They asked me questions, desperate to understand. What did it feel like? What happens to people who don't believe? What do we do? I didn't have all the answers, but I told them the truth. I had been given a second chance, but not everyone would. And no one would want to see what I had seen. Things got worse after that. Teachers called my parents. Some students' parents complained, saying I was disturbing their kids. I didn't care. I had a message to share, and I wouldn't stop, but I started noticing something strange. I wasn't alone anymore. I would wake up in the middle of the night and feel like someone was watching me. My room would be ice cold, even though the windows were shut. I started hearing things, whispers just at the edge of my hearing. Sometimes I would catch shadows moving in the corners of my vision, shapes that weren't there when I turned to look. And then the nightmares started. They weren't like normal dreams. They were real, more real than anything I had ever experienced. I was back in that place. Every night, I could feel the heat, smell the burning flesh, hear the agonized screams. The creatures were always there, waiting, grinning at me with those razor-sharp teeth. One of them leaned in close one night, its hollow eyes staring deep into mine. "You think you've escaped?" it whispered. I woke up screaming. It didn't stop. Every night, the same nightmare, the same warning. They weren't done with me, and deep down I knew why. I had been given a second chance, but they wanted me back. One night, I woke up gasping for breath, my body ice cold. I turned my head and froze. There was something standing in the corner of my room, a shadow, tall, thin, its body flickering like smoke. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Then it took a step toward me. I wanted to scream, but my voice was gone. It leaned closer, its head tilting unnaturally. "Stop," it whispered. Then it vanished. The next morning, I told my dad everything. I thought he'd dismiss it, tell me I was overreacting. Instead, he nodded solemnly. "They're angry," he said. "They know they lost you." He pulled out his old Bible and placed it in my hands. "You have to fight, Smith. They won't stop unless you do." That night, for the first time in my life, I prayed. Not because I was desperate, not because I was scared, but because I believed. And as I whispered those words, real, honest words from my heart, I felt something. Warmth, peace. And for the first time since I died, the shadows were gone. The nightmares stopped. The whispers faded. I wasn't afraid anymore. Now, I live with one purpose, to share what I saw, to warn as many people as I can, because I was given a second chance. But I don't know if anyone else will be. So I will keep speaking. I will keep warning. And I pray that anyone will listen before it's too late.